Hello, welcome in. It is New Music Friday, except we're not listening to new music today. We're here to listen to something different, an old, ancient album. No, not really. What we're listening to today is 21 Pilots' second album, full-length album, Regional at Best. So if you know me, and if you've been through my whole channel before, you know that I'm a huge 21 Pilots fan. They are, without a doubt, my most favourite band of all time. But I have a confession to make. It's an embarrassing one to admit as a 21 Pilots fan. I've never listened to Regional at Best. Never. I've been riding alongside this band for probably around 10 years now, since Blurry Face came out, and my mum was playing the album in the car when I was a little 10-year-old kid. I got into the band that long ago, and I've been more or less a diehard fan for a couple of years now. I've never listened to Regional at Best, and there's a reason why. It's not a good reason, but it is a reason, and that's because it is without a doubt widely regarded as their worst album. And also the fact that it's not on streaming. I'm having to listen to this on YouTube instead of Spotify. So there's that. And people seem to widely regard it as their worst album, not just within the fan base, but, music rating communities like Rate Your Music, Album of the Year, they say the same thing. So basically, I was too scared. I was really worried that I'd hate the project and I wouldn't ever want to return to that. But I decided today I'm going to face my fears and I'm going to listen to the album. Now, of course, there are things to be said. There are indeed songs on Regional at Best that are on Vessel, as well as the bonus tracks that I have, because I'm very obviously British. I get songs like Lovely and Glowing Eyes and Forest that are also on this. So there's a good chunk of songs on here that I am very familiar with. But there is a handful of songs that I'm not familiar with, or are Regional at Best versions that they changed for Vessel. So for the most part, I think it's going to be a fairly unique experience. So personally, I am looking forward to this. I'm a bit worried, of course, why wouldn't I be? But from what I have heard, I don't think it's going to be as unbearable as some people make it out to be. I think that there is going to be some really solid material here. It's just going to be dated, and that's mainly the problem it's going to have. But the writing from early 21 Pilots is stellar. I mean, their debut self-titled album, I adore that album. So it can't be that bad, surely. So with this video I found on YouTube, it appears to be a extended edition album, newsletter edition, which includes these last two songs here, House of Gold and 2. If the House of Gold song is the exact same one as the one on Vessel, then I am going to skip it, because that is obviously not exclusive to the original album. But 2 is a completely unique album that isn't present on any other of their albums, so I am going to listen to it. And I have heard that one before. I will spoil that one, but I'm going to give it a proper listen and talk about it as well, and include it with the full album. So it's over an hour long. It's a chunky album, but I'm ready to sit through the whole thing. I'm not going to be doing anything else in the background. I'm going to give it my full undivided attention. If you don't know how this thing goes with me, I'm just a casual listener, a generic fan. I'm not like a proper music reviewer or anything of the sort. I'm just here for fun. I'm just here to share my reactions to music, because I love to listen to music. And I also do want to state that I will talk about every song in fair detail after each song, and then at the end of the album I'll do a full conclusion and I will rate the album that kind of deal. So anyway, enough yapping. Here we go. This is Regional at Best. I want to say that I expected these first songs to be, honestly, for some reason I thought they would be the same as the ones on Vessel, and they just got reused on Vessel, but that's not the case. These are different. These are the original versions. So, already I'm like, oh god, I'm into this a lot deeper than I thought. Sorry to pause it. Let's keep going.
I know what you think in the morning, when the sun shines on the ground and shows what you have done. It shows where your mind has gone, and you swear to your parents that it will never happen again. I know what that means. I know that you all have guns, and you never put the safety on, and you all have plans to take it, don't take it, take it. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep, but I can't when you all have guns for hands. Yeah, I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep, but I can't when you all have guns for hands. Yeah, let's take this a second at a time. Let's take this one song, this one rhyme together. Let's breathe together to the beat. But there's hope out the window, so that's where we'll go. Let's go outside and all join hands. But until then you'll never understand that you all have guns, and you never put the safety on, and you all have plans to take it, don't take it, take it. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep, but I can't when you all have guns for hands. Yeah.
Okay. Mostly the same. In the right thing. Anyway.
We turned our hands to guns, trading our thumbs for ammunition. I must forewarn you of my disorder or my condition, cause when the sun sets, it upsets what's left of my invested interest, interested, and putting my fingers to my head. The solution is I see a whole room of these mutant kids. Fuse at the wrist, I simply tell them they should shoot at this. Simply suggest my chest and this confused music. It's obviously best for them to turn their guns to a fist.
Okay, same rap. Sorry, I got a call.
I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep.
What's that noise? Okay, Guns for Hands. Obviously, I am going to compare these regional best songs to the Vessel versions if they are on Vessel. So this song, a lot more bare instrumentally, especially during the second verse. There's really not a lot going on. It's made a lot more flavorful in the Vessel version. Otherwise, Tyler sounds much younger. As I said, he sounds like a little kid. Really, all it is the quality is not as good. Pretty much is the difference here. Instrumentally wise, writing wise, it's pretty much the same, apart from that ending. But in terms of actually talking about the song itself, I think that it is a great song, great message. I really, really love the lyrics on this song. Obviously, it's talking about how Tyler, he can't sleep because all he can think about are his fans, and specifically them being suicidal. There's one line that is turn the guns to a fist. Really resonates with a lot of fans, of course. I think it's just a fantastic song. I think instrumentally wise, it's a lot more punchier on the Vessel version, and that's why I really love that song on the Vessel compared to this version. But still, I love the drums specifically on this song are probably the highlight. I love how they complement the vocals and the flow of the track. I think that's about all I can really say for that one. Great song. Let's continue. What is up next? I think it's Holding On To You.
I'm taking over my body, back in control, no more shoddy. I bet a lot of me was lost, T's and crossing I's and dotted. I fought it a lot, and it seems a lot like flesh is all I got. Not anymore, flesh out the door, swat. I must have forgot, you can't trust me. I'm open a moment and close when you show it before you know it, I'm lost at sea. And now that I write and think about it and the story unfolds, you should take my life, you should take my soul.
Just about hear the vocals behind the synth there.
Remember the moment, okay. You know exactly where you're going, cause the next moment before you know it, time is slow and then it's frozen still, and the windowsill looks really nice, right? You think twice about your life, it probably happens at night, right? Fight it, take the pain, ignite it, tie a noose around your mind, loose enough to breathe fine and tie it to a tree, tell it you belong to me, this ain't a noose, this is a leash, and I have news for you, you must obey me. You are surrounding all my surroundings, sounding down the mountain range of my left side brain. You are surrounding all my surroundings, twisting the kaleidoscope behind both of my eyes. to make the beat. Lean with it, rock with it, when we gonna stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the beat. Lean with it, rock with it, when we gonna stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the beat. Lean with it, rock with it, when we gonna stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the beat.
Okay. Huge difference in the drums. I think I should talk about how this is regional at best. This is a time before Josh Dun was the predominant drummer of the band. I think he did work on this album for some of it, but I think the original drummer, whose name I don't know, I don't remember the original band members' names. Apologies for that. But I think the original drummer contributed most of it to this album. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's mostly Josh. So there's a big difference there. The drums, they do not work nearly as well on this song. It's distracting, and it's a lot less impactful with those moments that in the Vessel version do not have the drums. I think that it was a great decision to remove the drums for the final version, because they sound a lot more impactful in the delivery with just those softer instrumentals, such as the Entertain My Faith part, especially that. Yeah, it does benefit with different drums, but other than that, again, I think it's a fantastic song. I really love how these earlier songs have so many different moving parts and different sections to them. So the whole thing switches up once or twice, very significantly, more than you'd expect from any other song. I love how they execute them. I think it's flawless nearly every time, and this is no exception. Lyrically, another really soulfully, emotionally charged song. Love the delivery on the vocals from Tyler, and he doesn't sound quite as young on this one. But maybe I just didn't notice it as much. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. I don't think the production's quite as bad as I expected, all things considered. I mean, it sounds perfectly fine on self-titled, so I don't see why it would be so much worse. Obviously, it's not great. There's no denying that. But it doesn't dampen the experience in any way for me, personally. It's noticeable, but it's not, getting in the way of me enjoying every other aspect of it. So yeah, let's move on to Ode to Sleep. Wow. Damn, okay. Hugely different from the Vessel version. Oh my word. That felt like listening to a GarageBand version made by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and is just using the first sound that they pick out. And the vocals, man. Why did they echo him in the first rap part? That sounded so awkward. Man, that was funny. That was funny. Which is probably not a good thing. But it was funny. It was entertaining. The production on this was significantly worse than the last two songs, I think. The drum beats, what was going on there? Everything was really weirdly arranged in this song. You had everything that was happening in the background, the vocals, like the added yes and the la la las and whatever else is happening. There was like shouting at one point. What is this? It's so chaotic, and it does not feel structurally sound in the slightest. That being said, I still think the arrangement of the song altogether is perfectly fine. So the Vessel version I think is great. Love the song. But this version is just, it's laughable. Tyler's vocals are obviously a lot less mature, a lot less controlled. They feel like somebody's heard the song maybe once or twice, and this person is just singing the best they can, but it's obviously completely wrong to how it actually is in the actual song. But I need to remember that this is the original. So it's not wrong in any way. But wow, yeah. They improved it tenfold. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to what I believe is the first actual song from Regional at Best that isn't on Vessel. And this is a fan favorite I know very well. It's Slowtown. They played this one live fairly recently during their smaller shows just before Clancy released. So I think I've probably heard this song for mostly fully. But let's hear how it actually sounds on Regional at Best. I sound really stuffy, I don't know why, I'm not ill. Okay. So sonically, if you take out that like really distracting sound that runs in the back between my ears the whole time, and you fix the production to not be quite as jarring, I think that sonically that is a really good song. In terms of, it was really catchy, and I really loved I think the pre-chorus, da, 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 that part, that is such an infectious melody. I love the deliverance on the vocals during that part. There were certain points that felt the delivery was, I don't know, just kind of like mushy, not very strong at all. But yeah, for the most part, I think that that's probably a pretty damn good song. And if they remastered this song, I think that it would be one that I would return to a lot, for sure. Really catchy. The drops felt natural and fun. The drumming didn't feel off in this one, maybe because there's no other updated drums to compare it to, but they sounded perfectly fine on this one. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, if not slightly uncomfortable. Anyway, let's move on. What is the next song? It would be nice if the names popped up on screen, but it's okay. It is going to be Car Radio. Okay, so another one is that's obviously on Vessel. And it actually did really well streaming-wise. So let's listen to the original. Big gap between songs.
I ponder of something great. My lungs will fill and then deflate. They fill with fire, exhale desire. I know it's dire, my time today. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought, cause somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence.
It feels a lot more bored and robotic.
Sometimes quite as violent. I find it hard to hide it. My pride is no longer inside. It's on my sleeve. My skin will scream, reminding me of who I killed inside my dream. I hate this car that I'm driving. There's no hiding for me. I'm forced to deal with what I feel. There is no distraction to mask what is real.
Yeah, the updated version flows
I could
a
pull
lot
the
better.
steering wheel. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought. Cause somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence.
This is one I play the drums to quite a bit.
I ponder of something terrifying, cause this time there's no sound to hide behind. I find over the course of our human existence, one thing consists of consistence, and it's that we're all battling fear. Oh dear, I don't know if we know why we're here. Oh my, too deep, please stop thinking. I liked it better when my car had sound. There are things we can do, but from the things that work there are only two, and from the two that we choose to do, peace will win and fear will lose. There's faith and there's
Timing's a bit
faith.
off.
We need to pick one, please, because faith is to be awake, and to be awake is for us to think, and for us to think is to be alive. And I will try with every rhyme to come across like I am dying to let you know you need to try to think. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought, cause somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence.
I just rising synth wave.
ponder of something great. My lungs will
Like
fill
when the
and
drums
then
hold the
deflate. They
second.
fill with fire, exhale desire. I know it's dire, my time today. I have these thoughts, so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought. Cause somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence.
Silence. Okay, Tyler. Yeah. Again, I'm going to compare it to the updated version on Vessel, because the flow on that and the timing is so much better on the Vessel version. Whereas on here, it feels, like I said, a little bit bored and a little bit like robotic, formulaic. It doesn't have much character to it in the vocals, which I think is improved pretty significantly on the Vessel version. The drums, pretty much the same. Obviously, the drums in the new version sound a much better, and it doesn't have the crashing in the breakdown. Doesn't sound quite as bad there. Yeah, here I think that it definitely needed a little more time to be fully. What's the word I'm looking for? It needed time to grow and become the great song that it ended up being. Because this is solid. It's solid, but it's not quite there. It's not quite at that level that it would eventually get to. And I think Tyler, really good at writing, and I think that, you know, he gets this song together, and he gets this kind of like skeleton of a song, and then he fleshes it out a lot more. And I think for this, it feels like the skeleton of the song. It doesn't feel like the fleshed out, you know, completed version. If you know what I mean. But yeah, not too much to say for this one. It's pretty similar to the Vessel version. I love the breakdown on this. More 21 Pilots songs need dramatic breakdowns like this one. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say. Let's continue with, this one is Forest. Okay, so this is a song that I believe is one of the UK exclusive songs that are a part of Vessel on streaming, so I am very familiar with this song, and I'm sure it's going to be the actual version that is on streaming. So it's probably the first actual song that is not new to me, in terms of at least not being a first edition of a song. We're going to listen to it anyway, and I will talk about what I think of the song. Okay, a little outro that I missed. A little piano outro. Okay, that's pretty. Pretty unnecessary, but it is pretty. I don't like the wet sounds that are present in this first bit. They're like squelching sounds.
There's a stomach inside my brain.
Oh.
I don't wanna be heard, I wanna be listened to. Does it bother anyone else that someone else has your name? Does it bother anyone else that someone else has your name?
This is different.
I scream, you scream, we all scream, cause we're terrified of what's around the corner. We stay in place cause we don't wanna lose our lives. So let's think of something better. Down in the forest, we'll sing a chorus, one that everybody knows. Hands held higher, we'll be on fire, singing songs that nobody wrote. My brain has given up, white flags are hoisted. I took some food for thought, it might be poisoned. The stomach in my brain throws up onto the page. Does it bother anyone else that someone else is your name? Does it bother anyone else that someone else is your name? I scream, you scream, we all scream, cause we're terrified of what's around the corner. We stay in place cause we don't wanna lose our lives. So let's think of something better. Down in the forest, we'll sing a chorus, one that everybody knows. Hands held higher, we'll be on fire, singing songs that nobody wrote.
Feels different. I might be wrong. Can be confirmed when I listen to the other bit.
Quickly moving towards a storm, moving
moving forward, torn into pieces over reasons of what these storms are for. I didn't understand why everything I adore takes a different form when I squint my eyes. Have you ever done that? When you squint your eyes and your eyelashes make it look a little not right, and then when just enough light comes from just the right side and you find you're not who you're supposed to be? This is not what you're supposed to see. Please remember me, I am supposed to be king of a kingdom, was swinging on the swing. Something happened in my imagination, the situation's becoming dire. My treehouse is on fire and for some reason I smell gas in my hands. This is not what I had planned. This is not what I had planned. Down in the forest, we'll sing a chorus. Hands held higher, we'll be on fire, singing songs that nobody wrote. Down in the forest, we'll sing a chorus, one that everybody knows. Hands held higher, we'll be on fire, singing songs that nobody wrote. Hands held higher, we'll be on fire. Hands held higher, we'll be on fire.
Okay, yeah, I first want to say that the instrumentals on the early work here are so ahead of their time. It sounds so unique and flavorful. The piano and the chirpiness and the synthy stuff. My terminology is not great, but I know what I'm talking about, and you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that I just don't really know the song too well because it's not one that I particularly love. Obviously, as you saw, I went on Spotify and I checked. And yeah, I haven't liked the song on Spotify. I don't return to the song very often unless I'm listening to Vessel the whole way through. Because yeah, I just think that it's a pretty song. It's a really pretty song, sonically and lyrically, and it's got a catchy chorus, but I just think that it's one of 21 Pilots' weaker songs. There's really not a whole lot going for it other than it sounds really nice, but it's just not a memorable song from them. I think that the vocals are pretty weak for 21 Pilots. Yeah, I commend the instrumental flavorness. That is probably the standout part of the song. Didn't really care for the rap that Tyler did. It was like not a great rap from him. Yeah, I do want to speed this along a fair bit because it's already been quite a long recording already, and we're only 28 minutes in. So let's get on with it. Let's keep going. What is the next song? It is Glowing Eyes. Okay, so let's see if it really is the Vessel version or if it is different. And I'm misremembering things. I don't know. I will know with this one.
We all are stranger creatures than when we all start. We all know somebody who knows somebody who's doing great. I know some people who know people who are flying straight. But I'll kindly enter in to rooms of depression, while ceiling fans and idle hands will take my life again. We live for the nights that core and reveals what we dream of. I know there's someone at the door. They call for help of this, I'm sure. But do I want to say goodbye to all the glowing eyes? I'm holding on to what I know, and what I know I must let go. But I would rather play a song for the eyes to sing along. This room is far too dark for us to stay around. Redemption's not that far, and darkness is going down. This room is far too dark for us to stay around. Redemption's not that far, and darkness is going down. I'm holding on to what I know, and what I know I must let go. But I would rather play a song for the eyes to sing along. Their eyes will sing along. Make them stop. Make them stop. Make them stop. Make them stop. Make them stop.
It's kind of evil for them to make such a feel-good sounding song with the lyrics that it has. I really love this song. I think that it's just such a fun song. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and I think that's what gives it charm. You know, the la 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 las, they're kind of corny, but it's a product of its time. And I don't know, I just think it's a really catchy song that transitions really well between segments, and sonically I don't really have many complaints. It's nowhere near the highest level that 21 Pilots can reach in their songwriting, but I think for this time period when they were writing songs, this really hit the mark. They did this really well. I'm sure there's a lot of people, non-fans, who would disagree and say that this song is pretty bad, and you know, I don't blame them. I can see very well why people wouldn't like this, but me personally, I really love everything about this song, and it's hard for me to explain why, because it is such a silly song that by no means should be as fun as it is. But yeah, I will fight for it. I think Glowing Eyes is peak. Let's continue. What is next? I hate that I always have to go and look at the description. It is Kitchen Sink. Okay, another one off of the bonus tracks. Kitchen sink to you is not a kitchen sink to me. Okay, friend? Yeah, this is unchanged on Vessel. I guess I really haven't listened to Forest that much, have I? Surprisingly pretty opener to this track. You'd think the weird, like, would be annoying, but it's not. And the piano's great. And when the drums come in,
I think. Nobody dreams when they blink. Think things on the brink of blasphemy. I'm my own shrink. Think things are after me. I'm my catastrophe at my kitchen sink. You don't know what that means, because a kitchen sink to you is not a kitchen sink to me, okay friend? Are you searching for purpose? Then write something, yeah, it might be worthless. Then paint something, then it might be wordless. Pointless curses, nonsense verses. You'll see purpose start to surface. No one else is dealing with your demons, meaning maybe defeating them could be the beginning of your meaning, friend. Nobody thinks what you think, no one. Empathy might be on the brink of extinction. They will play a game and say they know what you're going through, and I tried to come up with a narcissistic way to say they don't know you, and neither do I. So here's a prime example of a stand-up guy who hates what he believes and loves it at the same time. Here's my brother and his head screwed up, but that's alright.
Time gains moment in the moment when I'm living in a moment, in a momentary sin, in a moment past and after a re-beginning moment, spinning memories, pretending enemies are frenemies, sending me straight to bending me my bad behavior, but I better could have been a better man. Copy and paste, caught me and copy, better rhymes bother me. The better the rhythm, the better I am, but the better win, the better I am. Gambling man, better I am a gambling man. I
How do you make a song like this? How old was he? Like, around 20? Maybe a bit, like, later in his, like, early 20s, I think, Tyler was. And he was writing and making songs like this. Like, unfucking real. His musical talent is something to behold. Yeah, I can confidently say that Kitchen Sink is one of my favourite 21 Pilots songs, period. I think it's probably safely in my top 15 songs from the band, and that's saying a lot, because that's competing with pretty much the entirety of Trench, half of Clancy, a chunk of Vessel. I think the only part that lets this song down for me is Zach's verse. I think it is kind of crazy that Tyler brought on his brother to do a rap verse, and And don't get me wrong, he does perfectly fine, but I just think that in terms of the rest of the song, it doesn't feel incredibly natural for the flow of the song to bring him in as this feature. But it's not a huge deal for me personally. I just think that is what brings the song down, because other than that, I don't think I have any complaints. I think that this is a prime example of early Tyler Joseph's absolutely phenomenal songwriting and singing on here as well. It's just such a gorgeous song, such a good message. And I think I've pretty much said everything. Yeah. You know, you'd think I'd come and give this whole album a shot a bit earlier, knowing that this is from this album. But I guess I'm a stupid idiot. Let's continue with another fresh new song for me, Anathema. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Let's go. Gonna be hard to compete against that song.
From my heart to sleep.
That's the end of the song. What the fuck? How'd you go from Kitchen Sink to that? I'm sorry. But that was a mess, to be honest. There was a really good song in there somewhere, but it kind of all fell apart and lost all of its momentum. It sounded like it was going somewhere amazing for a moment there, as you saw, and then the drop happened, and I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this, are we? Didn't sound great. Tyler's vocals were not good. I'm sorry, they were not good here. Easily the weakest song so far, and very short as well, unless it's just got a really long pause that I'm talking through right now. That would suck, but I don't think so. I think we still got too many songs for that to be the case, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, the writing was not there, and the lyrics were a little bit goofy as well. So much emphasis on mental health here, but it's kind of hard to take it seriously when those are the lyrics. It feels like he's trying a little bit too hard here, and it did not work well. Sorry, Tyler. Let's go on to Lovely. Okay, so yeah, it is just that short. Or it feels that short. It goes by quick, which might be a good thing. Anyway. The final bonus song of the vessel.
You say things with your mouth, cobwebs and flies come out.
This sounds different, actually. This sounds different.
I hear a second voice behind your tongue somehow.
Definitely different.
Luckily I can reach your mind, flies and cobwebs unwind. They will not take you down, they will not cast you out. Dear friend, here we are again, pretending to understand how you think your world is ending, sending signals of red flags and waves. It's hard to tell the difference between one water these days. I pray the one that you see, the only difference between life and dying is one is trying. That's all we're gonna do, so try to love me and I'll try to save you. Won't you stay alive? I'll take you on a ride. I will make you believe you are lovely. Won't you stay alive? I'll take you on a ride. I will make you believe you are lovely.
Nice piano bit.
Your redemption won't grow stale. We are now just setting sail on the sea.
different then.
Don't hit me straight.
It probably is.
Won't you stay alive? I'll take you on a ride. I will make you believe you are lovely. Won't you stay alive? I'll take you on a ride. I will make you believe you are lovely.
I like this breakdown. Somehow works in the crash. Stop putting unnecessary sounds in the breakdown. We don't need the crash, we don't need the fucking twist it noise.
Don't be gone. Don't be You say things with your mouth, cobwebs and flies come out. You say things with your mouth, cobwebs and flies come out. You say things with your mouth, cobwebs and flies come out.
Okay, so I was right. It is different. The mixing is pretty abysmal on that one, I cannot lie. But it is what it is. Obviously you heard me complain about the sounds in the breakdown, like the crash and the like cricket sound. Does not work. It totally distracts me from how cool the breakdown is. The Vessel version is without a doubt so much better, and it's got so many minute changes, but it's so much better on the Vessel version. Here I would not return to it. The auto tune on those little bits is really awkward. Thinking about trees, I know what's coming, but here it's awkward. Yeah, I think about everything I want to say I already conveyed and or spoke during the song. It's a fun song. I really love the remastered, remade version for Vessel, but here it's not very pleasant sounding is the issue. It's a lot. It's overwhelming and does not sound natural for the most part. So I am glad that they remade this one. Let's keep going. I think this is another original. It is Ruby, yes. I hear this is one that fans like a lot as well.
tell us of the clouds you have fallen from the sky. How high, how high,
Where's this going? What is it doing? Will this song be saved by a breakdown? And not just Tyler Joseph?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hold on a breakdown.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're an angel.
Well, okay. I actually had to look up the lyrics for this song because for a while I wasn't too sure what was really happening, but then it kind of sounded like Tyler was saying, "Tell her dad I'm sorry," and then I was like, "Oh, this must be really dark. What happened?" And I looked it up. And this song is about a girl who went to the same church as Tyler who had Down syndrome. And he's kind of talking about how she was the most beautiful, pure person that he knew there. And it says, "Tell our dad I'm sorry," which is presumably referring to God. I'm not sure why he's saying that specifically. But yeah, that's a really beautiful reason behind writing this song, and that does give me more appreciation for it. For a while I was a bit like, there's not really anything happening to keep me engaged, and I'm not really too interested in where the song's going sonically, but then it got to that point and I was like, hold up, there is some deep meaning behind this that I need to know. So there's that. I can commend the song for that. It really grabbed my attention there. It made me want to know what the song is about from the lyrics. And maybe that's just because the lyrics aren't clear enough, but I don't think that's why. I think that there's just good writing, to be honest. It felt really passionate, felt really personal. It was a really nice song. So, it grew on me a lot for that reason. What is next? My goodness, the never-ending album. It's Trees. Okay. Here we go. I will preface this by saying, I don't think I've fully heard Regional at Best Trees, but I know what to expect. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm super surprised by what I hear, but it is still going to be a genuine reaction because I don't remember fully how it sounds. So here we go. So I'm not going to disrespect you, Trees.
And the trees.
Really missing those screams at the end there. So I if I'm not misremembering, I think Trees was the first song that Tyler wrote, which makes it all so beautiful for that reason alone. And obviously it's such an important song for the band. It's a song that they always close every live show with. It's a really personal one for the fans, and it basically melded the band into what it is today. So you gotta love Trees. But that being said, you can really tell that it is the first song that he wrote, because yeah, it's lacking in a lot of places. I don't know why he went with so much heavy auto tune here, because it doesn't sound great. It's not as bad as you'd think it would be, judging from how people talk about it, but it is bad. Okay, it is fairly bad. And obviously it's missing a lot of the drums and, like I say, the screams at the end. But other than that, it's still pretty much the same instrumentals, the same vocal deliveries. So, that being said, underneath the auto-tune and the missing elements, it's still Trees. It's still a great song. It's still a really powerful track. But yeah, Regional at Best version far inferior to the Vessel version. Oop, I didn't realize I could just scroll down. My bad. Be Concerned is next. Another track original to Regional at Best that is not on Vessel. Okay. To be honest, I don't have a lot to say about that one. I think that, sonically it flowed well. I think Tyler's rapping was solid. I thought that the feature, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Jocef, is it Yosef? Maybe? He was a surprise, for sure. I don't think he was a huge contribution, but I also don't think it was as, I don't think it was as, I don't want to say bad, because Zach's wasn't bad, but, Zach's verse feature was not, something I enjoyed, whereas here it's just like, okay, it works, it's fine. I would have preferred it if it was Tyler, but it's fine. So, yeah. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of compelling moments there, or, crazy vocals from Tyler, anything of the sort. It was just kind of a very simple, easy to take in song. It was not by any means as bad as some of the stuff that we've heard so far. Not that anything was truly terrible, but, this was a fine song through and through. No real gripes with it, but it just didn't really do anything to keep my engagement very well. And it's a song that I wouldn't return to for sure. Let's continue with Clear. Whoa. Okay, damn. Okay, Clear. Very impressive. I think this is the first song that is only on Regional at Best that I would return to. I think that was a great song. I loved his vocals. I loved how dramatic it all sounded. It felt very, important in a way. Yeah, it kept me engaged really well. So much better than Be Concerned did. My only real issue was Tyler's rapping. The flow was good. The construction of the lyrics was fine, but I think that the delivery was kind of sloppy. I think he could do much better with just tightening up that delivery. But otherwise, I think it sounded great. I really heard some self-titled vocals in there, and I love that because I think the vocals on self-titles are great. Yeah, I don't have many complaints. I thought that was a great song. I'm pleasantly surprised that this song is as good as it is. Yeah, it's a shame that this isn't on streaming because I would definitely be listening to this quite frequently, I think. Great song. 2 more songs left. These are the ones that are not on the original album. These are on the newsletter edition, I assume. House of Gold is the first. Let's see if it's a different version or the actual Vessel version. Vessel version.
She asked me, son,
It's
when
different.
I grow old, will
Oh.
you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map, I'll cure you of disease. Let's say we up and left this town and turned our future upside down. We'll make pretend that you and me lived ever after happily. She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map, I'll cure you of disease. Oh, and since we know that dreams are dead and life turns plans up on their head, I will plan to be a bum, so I just might become someone.
Okay. A bit worried about that.
She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map, I'll cure you of disease.
Okay. Ooh. So I guess it was just the very start of the song where the vocals were pretty awful, like really pitchy. But after that, they seemed to be mostly fine. Otherwise, kind of the same song. I mean, it's just the ukulele and some fairly simple drums and some fairly simple like synths in the back. So yeah. I've never really been a huge fan of House of Gold, like the Vessel version, for the same reasons a lot of people feel the same way. It's just kind of empty in a way, just the ukulele and the repetitiveness of it all. It's just not really the standout song for 21 Pilots. They could have done much better. Maybe they couldn't have done much better, but, you know, it's just not exactly a crazy good song. I'd probably rank it quite low if I were to rank all of their songs. It would definitely be down there, but I still like the song. I still return to it. I still sing along to it. But yeah, it's not really much else to say for this version, because it's kind of just the same thing with some fairly worse vocals. So, but yeah, it's a nice song. It's a pleasant song. It's just not like a standout song. And finally, we have two. I will spoil this by saying I have listened to this song fairly recently, and that's probably what prompted me to come and listen to this album. I won't spoil what I think of it. Let's listen to it. And that is regional at best. First, let's talk about 2. 2, personally, and this might be a hot take, I think that 2 is an absolutely crushing, astonishing song. I think that it's amazing. I think the atmosphere it creates, the eeriness of it, the menacingness of it, the way the vocals just like glide. There's something in my teeth. Fuck. But the way the vocals glide, the way they're so soft, and just how different it sounds for 21 Pilots. It feels straight out of some kind of like movie. It feels like the main screen theme for like a psychological horror. It's kind of weirdly beautiful in a way as well. Obviously you've got the piano, you've got the drums. It all feels like super menacing. I think it's the purpose of it. But I don't know. Something about it is just so captivating for me. Like, it feels like hopelessness put into music form, like perfectly. But I also don't know if it's hopelessness or if it's like anxiety, or it's just kind of tension is how to describe the song. I think that's the best word, tension. Yeah, it just sounds crazy. Like, it's pulling me in. It's like I want to know what's happening. I want to know what's going to happen. It's weirdly like out of line for 21 Pilots. You know, nothing else in their whole discography sounds anything like this. So that's why it's so interesting to me. But yeah, love the vibe of the song. Regional at best. What did I think of the whole album? Well, it's quite a mixed bag, isn't it? Because on one hand, you got all these songs that I have now at this point grown up with to love and, you know really well. And then you've got these other songs that are completely new to me, that are a product of its time, don't sound great, but some of them are strangely really good. Specifically 2 and Clear. So it's a difficult one for me to talk about, because I'm already attached to the songs, and the fact that I'm hearing them basically as what I would consider to be the demo versions, to be honest, of those songs. It's really weird to me, because it's knowing that there's such a great song in there, but what I'm hearing is, it's not fleshed out. It feels like the skeletal version of the song. So it feels unfair to judge it. It feels unfair to rate it because of that. These other songs that don't appear on Vessel, of course, I can be harsher towards because I'm unfamiliar with them. It's a consistent album in the kind of themes that it explores and its sounds. So that's good. Well, I believe it's good. Obviously the vocals aren't amazing. I think Tyler's vocals on Self-Titled are better than they are for the most part on here. There are some moments on Regional at Best where the vocals are really strong from Tyler. The drums could use a lot of work. The production, the mixing is obviously not great, but you can't expect any less, or any more, sorry, because of the time period and knowing, they didn't have all the resources and the budget to make it any better. But the writing is all still there. There's only a few songs where I thought the writing was fairly weak. And, lyrically, really, really strong stuff. Some of their most memorable lyrics can probably be found in this album. And of course, some iconic songs were, basically the baby's the child of this album. Car Radio and House of Gold specifically. So it's hard to, criticize this album. And even then, there's not a whole lot to criticize, because this is an example. I could compare this to Twin Fantasy Mirror to Mirror version from Car Seat Headrest. I'm sure a lot of you will have no idea what that is, but if you're a music nerd like me, then you probably will. But basically, one of my 10 out of 10 albums is called Twin Fantasy Face to Face version, and Mirror to Mirror version is basically the original version, and Face to Face is the remastered version, and Mirror to Mirror is basically what is happening here. The production is a lot worse, and the vocals are pretty abysmal, to be honest. But the writing is still there. You can hear the amazing songs underneath the production, and, Tyler's, I guess, vocals, what's the word, fucking technique and skill and ability at the time was hindering those songs from being at their full potential. And that's a lot of what's happening here. So I think what I'm trying to say is this is a great album that's limited by what they had at the time, and it just needed time to be able to grow with Tyler as a vocalist for the most part, and a songwriter as well, and obviously allow Josh Dunn to come in on the drums. Why does his name have to be Dunn when he's the drummer? Like, that's such a hard thing to combine. But anyway. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. What would I rate this album? It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. I have to acknowledge the faults, but also I am biased because, I'm going into this album knowing a bunch of the songs and loving a bunch of the songs. So there is a bias. It's a tricky one for me. It is a really tricky one for me. I think I'm going to go with my gut and keep it at the score that I've given it. And the score I'm giving it is a 6.5 out of 10. So obviously that is not bad at all. That is a pretty good score. Compared to their other albums, I'm sure I've rated all of their other albums higher, and for good reason. But a 6.5 is a very solid score. That's probably just below the kind of average score I'd give, and that's for a lot more modern stuff from bands that have been going on longer. The kind of stuff that I listen to now. So, to be honest, this is an incredibly impressive piece of work. There's so much potential to be heard in it. And there's some really, really great material. So, I'm impressed. I think that my worries were, uncalled for, unwarranted, and I should have given this album a chance a lot sooner. Obviously, even still, I can't listen to it, a lot on streaming because I'm a Spotify user. If I had YouTube Music, God, I'm really stumbling on my words today. If I had YouTube Music, then I would absolutely be listening to Clear and to quite a lot. Probably none of the original versions that are on Vessel. I would take all of the Vessel versions any day over what I heard on here. There's not a lot on the Regional Best versions that I thought was done better than the Vessel versions. I think pretty much everything that they changed for Vessel was the right decision and improved the songs. So yeah, I think that's about all I really want to say for this album. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to Breach. That was announced a few days ago. I'm absolutely blown away by the fact that we're having another album this year. They've ruined their 3-year release streak that's been going on since 2015 to release this year. So, pretty hype stuff. Definitely 100% going to be listening to, first of all, the single that releases on June 12th. The Contract is what it's called. So come back to watch me react to that single. It's going to be so hype. And then obviously September, we assume it's September 5th, we get Breach, the album. And there's also the tribute album. I reacted to the artist announcements again a few days ago. So I'm going to be listening to the tribute album when I get it. It's going to be a physical copy. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it. I might have to play it out loud and it might sound a bit shit, but I'm definitely going to be reacting to it. So yeah, I hope to see you again. I hope you enjoyed this reaction of Regional at Best. I hope you enjoyed this album as much as I did, if not more. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon. If not, then thank you for sticking around. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Goodbye.